summer signings, you know, just behind the tens and Bumo and Cunha, then maybe worrying about your goalie every game. Okay, what's going on, people? Post game stream for the Manchester United match between Fulham. I don't know where to begin, man. Like I've got a little PTSD going on right now. I don't feel good about that at all. I feel like if we were in any other situation, I would feel different. I would still say, look, you know, early season jitters, early season whatever, but I don't know, man. That just didn't feel good. And I mean, I'm going to get into why it didn't feel good in a little bit, but something's just not quite setting right with me. I'm not on the Amram out train just yet, but something is not quite setting right with me. Um, and just before I even get into my points, let me just give a quick little recap. I'm just going to cheat and use Google here. So 1-1 was the final score, as you can see on my screen here. We had Euro scored a goal. He headed it off of Muniz, who was Fulham striker, in the 58th minute. So they gave it as an own goal. And then in the 73rd minute, Emil Smith Rowe came on and tied it up for Fulham. The official stats at the end of the game: Fulham had 13 shots, United had 10. Fulham had 4 shots on target, United had 3. Fulham had a 52% possession to United's 48%. Pass accuracy about the same, 83, 82%. Fulham had 9 corners to our 6. Now, the reason why that is important to me is because if you watched my game live stream, or if you were watching it all anywhere, you're watching the game, you saw that we started out in the first 15 minutes dominating Fulham. I mean, I was like, we're in for a show. It's going to be a party at Craven Cottage, at least for the United fans. It's going to be like 3-1 is what I called for. I said 3-1. And even at a certain point in the first 15 minutes, I thought maybe that's too conservative. Maybe we're looking at like a 4 or 5-0 thrashing, right? We were winning every ball. We were recovering the ball if we lost it. Nice interplay between Mbumo and Cunha and Mel and Casemiro and Bruno, Ahmad. Everyone was getting in on it, right? We were looking good. But then something happened after 15 minutes. Maybe we were expecting to score and we didn't, and our heads dropped, but we took our foot off the gas. I mean, you look at the stats too. I mean, again, I trust the eye test, so that's what I'm going off of. But if you look at the stats too, the stats said the same thing. We were out shooting them. We had win more possession. We had, was it 84% pass accuracy, which was higher than we've had before. I mean, we were all systems go for a win today. And we came out with a 1-1 draw. Again, after 15 minutes or so into it, I don't know what happened. We just dropped off. And I mean, really dropped off. Yeah, sure, Fulham might have played their way into it a little bit. I mean, yeah, they're home. They got their home fans behind them. Maybe they felt a sense of belief because we hit the post and then Bruno skied that penalty into the Thames, into the river. I don't know. But something went wrong. Something went wrong, and I don't think we made the right changes. Now, people were complaining about Mount starting over Šeško. People were saying you bring in a player like Šeško, he needs to be your main striker. Sure, I get it, but if you watch the game, you saw that Mount does offer quite a bit on both sides of the ball. He recovers the ball well. He gets up and down the pitch. He presses well. He links up the play well. He does a lot pretty well, right? So obviously a different player from Šeško, who I feel like is more of a out and out striker. And so for that reason, I feel like maybe they're a little bit interchangeable. Maybe you start Mount some games, maybe you start Šeško some games, maybe you play them together, right? Like they don't have to be a 1-for-1 swap. But I do think we need to build a different formation around Šeško versus Mount if we're going to have those two kind of play off of each other or, be swappable, right? Although I don't think they should be swappable. But I feel like we need to change the formation a little bit or something because even when Sheshko came on, he was dropping deep to get the ball and spray it out wide. And like, that's cool, but someone's got to be running past you from like a 10 perspective. So like if Sheshko comes in to get the ball and he swings it out to Dorgu or to Dallo, but then there's no one in the box for that cross, right? So I don't know what was happening there, if that was just, players kind of doing their own thing, or if that was by Amram's design or what. So I'm not sure what was happening there. Um, I mean, like I said, the penalty miss hurt us, right? I feel like that kind of changed a bit of the flow of the game, right? I feel like that changed the energy a bit. Um, and Bumo, right? So I feel like in the past few games, Mbumo's kind of struggled to really get on the end of the ball. He looked all right at times, but I guess I'm not seeing the Mbumo that I saw before at Brentford. And I feel like, and I'm going to go back and watch some of those games and maybe just kind of see what he was doing then differently. But I feel like I feel like we think he's faster than he is, right? Like we kept playing the ball into channels and asking him to try and outpace Bassi or Basie, however you say it, from Fulham, and he just wasn't. He wasn't really outpacing him, and Boomer never really got a chance to kind of get into the ISO offense again, using an NBA American basketball term there. You know, we didn't really get a chance to get him into any one-on-ones really, and I feel like that's kind of where he thrives and excels, either in some one-on-ones, a little quick little shimmy or something, shot off, cross in, or have him play a bit more centrally and just, other players play off of him. I feel like we're not really playing to his strengths right now. And so he's not looking that great. Cunha's doing what he can. He's passionate. He's fighting through. But again, I feel like we're not really setting him up for success either. Um, I mean, and speaking of that, let's just go ahead and address Bruno, right? Like Bruno cannot be in the midfield. He is not a midfielder. He's not a center mid, I should say. Not a midfielder, sorry. If you count Cam as midfield, then sure. He can play there. He can play a Cam. He can play a 10 role. But center mid is not his role. We've seen it time and time again in previous attempts to play him there. We've seen it in the last two matches. He is not a center mid. Doesn't have the legs. He's dropping too deep. We're taking his attacking creativity and we are stunting it. So I will place that, squarely at Amram's feet. Bruno should not be playing there. The only thing I can think is Amram's playing him there because he wants him on the pitch, but he also has Cunha and Mbumo, and he thinks that out of the three of them, Bruno's a better center mid. And once we get, I don't know, Baleba or Steeler or whoever in the midfield, then Bruno goes back to being a 10, and then we rotate between Mbumo, Cunha, and Bruno, or some sort of something like that. I don't know. I just know that right now we are stacked with 10s. We've got Mount who can play there. We've got Bruno who should be playing there. We've got Mbumo. We've got Cunha. We've got Xerxes. We've got Menu. Even Ahmad can slide in there, right? So we've got too many 10s, and we need to figure that out. And right now it seems like Menu's the one getting the short end of the stick, as is Xerxes. I don't know what the problem is with Menu and Xerxes. Um, I mean, I would have thought that Manu would have gotten a cameo today at least, but he didn't. And like I said in my match preview, I feel like Amram doesn't rate Manu the way that the fans and Ten Hag rated Manu. Again, Manu's not a center mid. I am on that train. He's not a center mid. He doesn't have the legs to be in the center of the park. He's a 10 if you ask me, or even a false 9. But Amram doesn't rate him at all to even put him on the pitch. And that's worrying. That's worrying because he's a talent that we should be figuring out how to use. Um, so yeah, I'm not liking that. I don't understand that. Xerxes, I gave him a pass last weekend because he said okay, because Xerxes was coming back. I think he was a bit injured, had a little bit of a knock. But I thought I would have seen Xerxes today as well. Like I really thought we should have swapped out Mbumo and Cunha for Xerxes and Menu in the last 20 minutes or so. right? Give us a different look up there, something different. Um, but he did not, and I don't know why that is. And again, I do question Amram on that. I am not on the Amram out train, so please don't misconstrue that or misunderstand that. But I don't get why Manu and or Xerxes did not come in. I got Shesko coming in. That made sense. I thought he should have started. In hindsight, Mount did well, but I thought Shesko should have started. Um, I feel like the right move was made when Shesko did come on to put Mount into the midfield, but maybe we should have started like that. Maybe we could have started with Bruno and Mount. Again, Casemiro wasn't bad either. Casemiro did well as well. I think Casemiro did a solid job there in the midfield again. But maybe it could have been Bruno and Mount, and Bruno sits further forward and Mount sits back. Or maybe even Casemiro and Mount. Casemiro sits back, Mount pushes further forward. You know, Shesko starts up front, something like that. But we got to figure something out because on paper, you look at the squad, and I was even saying this at the start of the game, even at the start of the Arsenal game. Our game day squads look pretty good. Like they look pretty solid. Like they look like a top 6 team if you look at it on paper. Like because I remember before seasons past, we're like, okay, we got a good starting 11, but then you look at the bench and it just falls off a cliff. Other times we were like, we don't have a good starting 11 and our bench looks even worse. But like this season, our starting 11 looks solid. Our bench looks solid, but I don't know what's going on. So I think tactically we need to change something, whether it's a formation change or we stop trying to wedge all these players in onto the pitch at the same time. Like we stop trying to play Mount, Bruno, Cunha, and Mbeumo all at the same time, and we start picking and choosing. Um, I don't know because I mean, again, I would think that if you're going to play all 4 of them at the same time, then that will be the perfect opportunity to swap them out for Xerxes and Manu at some point in the latter stages of the game, and that didn't happen, and I don't understand why. I mean, in the end, Maguire and Heaven came on, so it was almost like, okay, now we're playing for the draw, like we're swapping out defenders for defenders, which I mean, sure, but like I thought we wanted to win this match, we needed to win this match, but like no, it was no, let's put on some more defenders and let's leave Mbeumo and Cunha, who are visibly tired, um, you know, in the attack, and so with that, I mean, what we're sitting in 16th place with a negative goal differential. And again, I know it's too soon to be, in some ways, too soon to be looking at our place in the standings. But I look at Arsenal and Spurs and I think, okay, like these guys, they've won their opening matches. They weren't, walks in the park, especially Spurs, like they've improved a lot. They look good. They look good against PSG in the Super Cup. They look good against City. Um, so they've got 6 points, 6 points from 2 games. Arsenal, 6 points from 2 games. Chelsea had to stumble. They drew, but then they won. Forest, same deal. I mean, Liverpool is going to play Newcastle tomorrow, so that'll be a good benchmark to see kind of where Newcastle and Liverpool are. Liverpool already won one. Newcastle have drawn. So I mean, I look at United and I think we should be up in the mix. We should be up there with those teams, right? We should be in the top 6 somewhere fighting. And we are in 16th place right now with a loss to Arsenal, a draw at Fulham. We scored 1 goal and allowed 2. So we have a negative 1 goal differential. And again, I don't want to harp on that. I don't want to sound the alarms, but if you watched last season and seasons past, you can't help but feel a little bit of trauma from that, Not to make light of anyone's real trauma in real life. I get this is sport, but still, like you feel a little bit of like, is this happening again? Like, are we going to be languishing in the 10th places? Bottom half of the table, FC, as people called us, right? Is that going to be us again this season? I hope not. I hope not. But there's definitely some going back to the drawing board that Amram needs to do. And again, I think that comes in the form of a formation change. I don't know that this formation is working for us. Maybe we just, go to an out and out 4-3-3 or something, which, on paper I thought that's what we're doing today. I thought our front three would be a bit more fluid, but they weren't. They were pretty up and down, right? Pretty stagnant. So I don't know. I mean, you guys in the chat, you tell me what you think. Whoever's watching, pop in the chat. Tell me what you think, because I don't know. And also, I'll take a moment and just say, like, share, subscribe if you were new. Please join the discussion. Please follow me below at Brymart United, Brymart UTD on Twitter. I mean, and I guess what's frustrating too, right, is I can hear the Amram outers just doing this, just rubbing their hands together, just licking their lips, and like, see, I told you. And again, I'm not on that. I'm not on that yet. I do play some things at Amram's feet, but I'm not on that yet. I'm still giving him a chance to figure it out. I think by November 1st, we will know if we should stick with him or not. Um, if we are languishing, in the nether regions of the table by then yeah, I would squarely be Amram out. But right now, I'm still thinking, okay, he needs a little time to change things up a little bit. Um, so I don't know. We desperately need some midfield reinforcements. I'll tell you that. Um, like I was saying earlier, Bruno is not a center mid. Mount can do a job there because he's got more legs, but he's really a 10 if you ask me. Manu's a 10. I mean, who does that leave us? Casemiro, Ugarte. Casemiro doesn't have the legs really anymore, but he's still doing a job. Ugarte, he might go in there and clog some things up, but he's not. He's, you know, I think we should offer Ugarte plus cash for whoever we're trying to get as a midfielder. Although Amram says that, incomings are not reliant on outgoings, is what he said in his presser before this match. But, to sweeten the pot, to get it over the hump, whatever deals we got, whether it's Stiller, Baleba, Wharton, whoever. Um, I would say Baleba, I mean not Baleba, Ugarte plus cash to get that deal done, because we need legs in that center of the park. We do. And Bruno has got to play further up the pitch. We are losing his attacking talent by putting him further back. I mean, seeing him split the center backs across the back line hurt my heart. Like, it hurt to see him that far back. And you know, yeah. And I don't know if maybe that's what's taking his head out of the game. He just doesn't seem to be as into it, right? I mean, that penalty miss was unlike him. It's one thing if the goalie guesses the right way, but it's another thing to just completely just sky it like that. For a professional of his standard, for his ability, that was wild. That was wild. Um, so I don't know. I don't have much else to say, to be honest about it. I mean, again, get in the chat. Tell me what you think. Um, I'll give you guys a minute to put something in there, and we'll discuss it. But tell me your thoughts on the match, because I don't want to sit here and just ramble the whole time. The whole point of this community is to engage, to get you guys to engage and chat and have your say and put it out there. Small channel, so we're gonna chat, we're gonna talk. I'm gonna read out your chats. Not like a big channel where you're gonna get lost in the sauce here, right? Like, so please put in the chat. Let me know what you think. But something's got to change. Something's got to change. Something's got to change. That's all I can say. Um, Euro, I'll give you this while you guys are putting what you think in the chat. Euro was great again today. I mean, I made the claim. I think he, on form, might be one of the best center backs in the world right now. I honestly think that, if not the best. I mean, I know that's a big claim. Yes, I am hyped up on him, but the guy continues to perform game after game and is contributing the goals. I mean, every time the ball is back there near Euro with Euro, it's like, I'm chilling. I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all. Um, Euro does a good job. So I mean, he deserves all the plaudits. He is a top center back. We definitely won out by getting him. Um, I wish we could get more, players like that in the door. Um, but yeah, let me see if I had anything else noted down and written down to share with you guys. But I think that was really it. You know, the whole Mount Shesko thing, why we dropped off after 15 minutes, um, the Bruno penalty miss, and Bumo's not as fast as we think he is. Bassi was all over him, and Bassi was all over him. You know, we got to sort that out. I don't know why Manny when Xerxes didn't come on. Instead, Maguire and Heaven came on. Maguire almost had a goal, so big up to Maguire. I think he deserves a contract extension. Um, but I did not agree with that substitution. And we definitely need some sort of midfield replacement or reinforcement. I say replacement. I say Ugarte plus cash for whoever we're going after. Just get it done because we need him ASAP. Because right now we are in 16th place with a -1 goal differential to start the season against Arsenal and Fulham. Arsenal I could get losing to. Fulham we should have smashed today. So I will leave it on that. I try to keep these short. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.